Dennis Chehade, please. Is that how you sing? Chehade. Okay.
Just rolled it. So, hey guys, we're here for another exciting movie review Monday with Prasadini Shetty and the man himself, Dennis.
Prasadini Shetty. Oh, yes. So we have another special guest in the pod studio right now. I think my budget just keeps getting up and up. You probably know Dennis Chehade as the founder of HyperJump Productions or our lead DP. Also the guy who supplies us our fake plants. He's our dealer. So it's great to have you on the pod. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great because I'm also going to be introducing the film that we watched. So we watched Munjya, which is a 2024 indie film. It's a horror to-be cult classic, directed by Aditya Sarpotdar. I'm probably butchering that. And it stars Abhay Verma, Sharvari, Mona Sinka, and Suhas Joshi.
Wow, that was the most accurate pronunciation of every Indian name ever. So good job.
Yeah.
You didn't rehearse that?
No, this is
Unbelievable.
straight authentic. So the premise of the film follows a young man who visits a native village, and it unveils a family secret. And essentially it's a vengeful spirit, the Munjya. So the Munjya actually wants to get married, and now it basically attaches itself to the young man, and he needs to fight and protect himself from the Munjya's clutches and save the love of his life. So yeah, we essentially watched it this Eid break, and there's a lot of interesting things we're going to discuss. I'll give you back your notes.
Thank you so much. No notes. It's off the dome, all of it. So
Yeah.
I want to start off with saying this was your second Bollywood movie you've ever seen. Is that
Yeah,
right?
so I saw Vikram Vedha, and that was obviously an experience. It
Okay.
was very, very cool. I thought coming into this one, I would see the similar tropes that you would see in Bollywood films, which I wasn't let down, to be honest. At the end, we got an awesome dance sequence,
Hell yeah.
which definitely felt like it filled the story quite nicely together.
So I think I want to start off with knowing that your opinion on characters, because Bollywood knows how to make iconic characters. How many iconic characters could you count through? Who was your favorite? Who did you love? Who did you hate? Let us know.
I might actually throw the question back to you, but I love that each character had very distinct characteristics and features, right? Protagonist Bittu immediately stands out from the rest of the people. You immediately hate him, right? There's no lovable values from him.
Okay.
His sidekick, best friend Spielberg, super relatable.
The director, by the way.
Yeah,
He was in the film. Yeah.
So his best friend sidekick also goes by the name Spielberg. But it was so nice to see such fresh and different characters. And yeah, I think I liked, what was his name, Kobe? Or
Cabo.
Cabo?
Cabo was his name.
Yeah.
The white.
The whitewash wannabe Indian guy.
Yeah.
As you actually mentioned, he has the greatest character development in the film.
In the film, which is it.
In which he's only in 2 scenes.
He's in 2 scenes. So, okay, we need to give some context. Bittu is the main character. Cabo is the love interest's love interest. He's white. He dances for her, proposes to her at the opening of their Zumba studio. But he has more character development than our main character, Bittu, who's a loser.
And he's more likable as well.
Would you say he was still as likable when the demon ate his gulab jamuns off, or no?
No.
You stopped liking him because he went through pain?
More like he's definitely not a love interest anymore because
Okay.
the girl obviously isn't going to be with someone that can't further her lineage or line or family.
I did love him. I think he felt more active as a character than Bittu ever did because he tries to woo her heart, he tries to propose to her, he goes through more pain, I feel, than
Bittu is a very hateable character.
Yeah.
So like fundamentally, all of his characteristics, I hate. He's very shy. He loves someone. He daydreams about them. He gives them everything that they want. But overall, like, he has no substance. Even in his, like, when he's trying to redeem himself in the final fight.
Yeah.
What was the girl's name? Bella?
Mona Singha. Bella, yes.
Yeah, Bella sort of comes in. Is it really?
No, it's Bella, yeah. No joke.
Okay. Anyway, Bella comes in and she's the one that essentially throws the liquid and fire.
Yeah.
Or the liquid towards the tree and kills the tree. Spoiler. But essentially, you can see that she's a stronger, more interesting, more dynamic character than Bittu ever was.
Yeah, and that sucks because he's the lead of this fantasy series and he does not have any of the qualities that makes for an interesting character.
Yeah.
He just lets things happen. His grandma comes back from the dead to be like, stop being a loser, please do something.
Yeah.
Fist bumps him.
Yeah.
If my dead grandmother fist bumps me,
That's a life-changing sort of like
I would say
encounter.
so, one of the things, if a dead grandma just comes to you. But even then he's like, I'll let her take the lead. I'll let her burn the tree.
Actually, thinking about it now, dead grandma, best character.
She was the coolest.
She was definitely the coolest. And the fist bump thing, that was awesome.
I love that she says, I'll protect you till I'm alive, and then literally 2 seconds later she dies because she's like, I actually don't want to do this anymore. Peace. And she, Infinity Stone vanishes
that was cool.
twice.
That was really cool. Yeah. That was a pretty powerful...
I like that you said, spoiler alert, but anyone who's ever seen any movie would not be spoiled by anything that we say, because this movie was every movie combined.
Yeah,
ever.
true.
And that's what made it so interesting. Speaking of the musical dance number, there were none in the film.
There was, when he was proposing to his girlfriend, Bella.
True, not the girlfriend anymore,
or
ever. But he was dreaming about her.
No, before that, in the Zumba class, when the white guy was dancing.
Oh,
that was a dance
yes,
sequence.
that's what. But that song already existed.
Yeah, but it prolonged. It wasn't just like 2 seconds him dancing. It was like a full dance.
True.
He did his thing. There was lights. There was choreography behind him.
True. And there was more energy in his performance then than Bittu
Ever had.
because the man was blacking out every 2 minutes.
Yeah. I feel like if he had a beautiful transition into a very strong, powerful character, it's quite a cool dynamic change.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe even when they were making the movie, they were like, shit, this guy's never going to be able to change character. Just constantly keep him a passive nobody. Even the ending was like, he's still a loser. And his final lines were like, but our friendship will be together after she rejected him.
Yeah, he was like, everything will change, which was a callback to her dialogue, which everything will change when you come back. Only one thing will stay the same, our friendship.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you
want to be extremely unlikable?
Yeah. Do you want to like build a house in the friend zone? What's happening?
Basically, yeah.
So, this is a horror comedy. How would you rate the horror and the comedy elements in this film?
Genuinely, I was surprised by how westernized the film was. After seeing my previous singular Bollywood film, I thought that it would be a bit hard for me to understand like the comedy or the tropes or all of that, but it felt very relatable and Western structure.
Yeah.
Right? Even the characters, the dialogues, the encounters, the whole setup. Even the cinematography, I might actually add. There was no crazy slow motion sequences or, you know, like you need that, but it didn't have it. And I felt like it almost felt like a bit of a travel video.
Okay.
There was probably more drone shots than there should have been.
Yeah, they squeezed the drone guy. They're like, we were paying you. You're gonna drone everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I liked it because I genuinely looked at it and I was like, damn, wow, India looks like gorgeous. I would love to go there.
Facts.
But then I'm also in a horror film and I'm just watching drone shots by drone shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of comedy or horror, I didn't understand the comedy as much.
Okay.
Which is, but when we discussed it, you said that there was specific like comedy, but it was related to like a bit of Indian culture.
It was very referential when it came to pop culture.
Yeah.
But I feel like every Bollywood movie does that, where they try to not create their own comedic language, but they try to reference memes or jokes and something, which is fine sometimes, but then I feel like when that's all you have to offer as a film, which is referential comedy, I think it takes you out because you're not creating this new genre or this new world with your jokes.
Yeah.
And if it is a horror comedy, you need to make it unique to your own film, which I felt like was missing in this movie.
Yeah.
Where the comedy
Definitely.
felt flat and
Yeah.
ununique. And obviously the horror wasn't like scary or anything.
No.
And even the world building, it was very like derived from a little bit from Twilight, a little bit from Lord of the Rings, a little bit of E.T. I think E.T. was a very obvious reference that they made. He had posters on his wall with E.T. I feel like even the fist bump scene between the grandmother and the yeah, that is, and I don't think it's like it's quite obvious. I felt. Did you pick up on that?
Okay, like if you're using E.T. as a reference, E.T. is like a gorgeous film that depicts what you call a divorce between a child viewing his parents going through a divorce, and then seeing an alien, whether it's real or not. I think it's so like multifaceted. In this film, I felt like it lacked any ambiguity. It's very like there is a Munjya. Everyone sees it or hears it or it does interact in the world.
We hear him.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
We hear him very clear.
I'm not sure if it's Novo in Ibn Battuta, but beware that they did not master that audio whatsoever.
No.
It was atrocious.
I think this movie was louder than an atomic bomb going off somewhere in the distance. I think if
Chernobyl felt like chilled compared to that.
Yeah, I feel like if a bomb is going off and this movie is playing, I'm gonna hear the movie and then hear.
Especially his voice, it was very high pitch, and he kept on saying the exact same things. And they were just like repeat.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah. And I feel like as soon as his whole thing is like he wants to get married to Munni. And then he meets Munni, who's now
He's
80.
like, pass.
He's
Hard
like,
pass.
do you have a granddaughter? You know, that's the thing that I hated. It's like you establish very annoyingly that this is what this character wants, and then as soon as the character gets it, you're like, oh, never mind, he doesn't want that. And that could have been a very good comedic aspect if they like punched into it. You know, he's like, if they played it up like, oh, he wants her, and then he sees her and is like, pass. I think that's very funny as a concept, and if they like ham down on it, it would have been a good comedic beat.
Yeah, I think they needed to take a direction more solid, whether it was comedy, whether it was horror, because it kind of did feel a bit horror in the sense of like they never made the horror look comedy. You know, they tried to make the horror look scary, but it obviously wasn't scary, so it kind of fell off. And the comedy, I felt like they were a bit shy to like really double down on gimmicks or really push a narrative. But I will say my biggest perspective on why I think the film failed was I love smart villains. And because we were stuck with a toddler that had no brain and had like switched you had this alignment of that he wants one specific girl and then it switched, like it's hard to
root for him, okay.
Yeah, or be in the story because you're like, it just feels very based on the fact of what's more convenient.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like, speaking of the comedy, I think most of the comedy for me came from the Hand of God character. I think he was hilarious.
He was amazing. He was great.
Because I feel like he took his character very seriously. I think the performer also like took it seriously, and you could believe that somebody like that would exist, but also it's funny because they're satirizing religion in India, and I always love it when they do that. What was your perspective? I think this is a very foreign thing for you to see how religion plays a huge role in swaying the opinions of public. So,
what do you mean by that?
So, religion is used as a tool to, like the whole act thing where he cures the lady, but then he reveals, oh, that's not an act. I thought that was funny because it's true. For you, coming from like a foreign, perspective, what did you think of that whole scene and that sequence?
Okay, I liked it. I thought it was very funny because you get to see a very dynamic character.
Yeah.
And I liked that he dropped his guard quite quickly and he kind of explained everything.
Yeah.
But as you say, a foreigner watching it's a very common trope.
Okay.
In most, I would say Western films now, where there's a bit of like ambiguity with religion, and I feel like most films are a bit easing towards of being so like politically correct, and kind of playing into that. But in terms of likeness, I liked him more than every other character.
Agreed.
He kind of established himself really, really nicely, right? You see this hypocrite of a character, and then he kind of just comes off clean. He's like, yeah, that's all BS, by the way, but I know what's happening. So like suddenly he does it for show, but he's actually like, he actually has
purpose to the story.
No, but he actually has the credentials. You know, like he is actually someone that can exercise this munjya. He knows exactly what to do. But obviously for show and for money and for society, he has to do this. That's how you pay the bills. So it was quite funny to see that and how they placed him as a character.
He felt very fleshed out. Like I think there was humor to him, but there was also heart to him. There was also purpose to him in the story.
Yeah.
So I think hands down, I think he would be my favorite character.
Yeah. Grandma's still mine, but
okay. Yeah. She's a legend. I mean,
she's so cool.
She's very cool. She comes back from the dead. She disappears 2 times.
Yeah.
Do you think there was heart to this film? Not that there should be in a horror comedy, but I think with the grandma's character in mind, you know, she adds this like wisdom, wiseness to the hero's journey, even though he literally does not move. Doesn't add enough, but what do you think?
I feel I didn't see enough depth anywhere for me to be like, I kind of know what they're doing. It felt a bit flat in terms of most character development, most narrative, right? I kind of wanted them to commit to something, but as a Western coming into it, I think it's very friendly. So any market that it goes to, I feel like it could be relatable. People could watch it. So I almost look at it as actually going to steal this from what you immediately said after we watched it. You said it's so bad that it's good.
It's campy.
Yeah. Yeah, that term. So if you don't take it seriously and you walk in for the
fun of it.
Yeah, the effect of we're just gonna make fun of some stupid gimmicks and jokes and the situations and how bad character development's done.
Yeah.
It's a fun film.
It is.
It looks pretty too.
One of the things that surprised me about the film was the shots. Like it was very gorgeous right from the start, and I think the grading and, as you said, it was a very Western approach. I don't think I've seen much of that, especially in bad Bollywood movies.
Yeah.
But I think it looked fresh. It looked very clean. It made the location, because the location is such a big part in the film. You know, the whole thing is that the demon is in this Chetukwadi tree. I think they made it look beautiful.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It's really, really gorgeous.
But I'm glad that for a film that could have been so bad, it wasn't just bad. It was fun to watch, especially the ending. You know, when the demon's just being transferred from one body to another. It keeps going for the next 5 hours. I think I really enjoyed that.
When they did that, it made me switch my perspective a bit about the film. I think I wanted them to even go a bit crazier. Like I almost wanted, I don't know, like the monster, like the old guy to go into Bella and like, you know, like really double down on the weirdness. And she's now an old man, not the monster anymore. Like that would have been hilarious. So I feel like there was interesting things where they could have went weird with. So I felt it was a bit reserved, but it was well like put concept wise. It was clean. I didn't feel any big plot holes. You know, I think I liked when she put the marking on her head, and then she went a bit like crazy. That's when the film got a bit exciting, but I would have wanted to go deeper in that wormhole.
Yeah, I think, speaking of her character, you know, even though she had no idea what's going on in this world, it's like so detached from her, she still had such a good role in the story to move it forward. She's the one who messes up, but she's also the one who fixes it. And I think because these side characters, I would say, had so much more to give to the film, Bittu's whole arc felt even more disappointing, because it's like, why should we root for him?
Static, boring, undeveloped character, definitely.
He's scared, he's nervous, he blacks out. It's like...
Bit foreshadowing, but like, if you look at Frodo in Lord of the Rings, even though he's like a weak, passive character, he does it so well.
Yeah.
you still root for him. There's a still sense of like power and justice and all of
Mhm.
that. And I think Bittu didn't have principles or ethics or confidence.
Mhm.
Maybe he's being relatable to a specific target audience,
Mhm.
right? Like people trying to find themselves in weird situations. I just feel like we could have gone much more with it. Actually, speaking about it, one of my favorite scenes in the film was um, when Hand of God guy
Yeah.
was explaining to them how to get rid of the Munjya, right? It's like, you need to bring Bella and make her marry a goat.
Yeah.
You know, and they're listening to it and they're like, how are we going to convince Bella to do this?
Yeah.
And it was extremely funny when Bittu is sitting there in front of Bella and he's like trying to bumble his way through something.
Yeah.
And then Spielberg's like, oh, we do this and this and this. You know, like,
Yeah.
I would have loved to see more of those ridiculous situations and them trying to figure out how to explain to someone while they just kind of have to blindly accept it.
Yeah. I think the comedy would have been more fleshed out if we did that.
Because it's a ridiculous situation,
Exactly.
right? Like, it's funny, the idea, the girl that he likes has to marry a goat, no
Yeah.
questions asked.
And it's funny because she was also dealing with her own marriage problems, commitment issues. So it's a very funny that I think I would have loved it for her to be like, oh, I'd rather marry a goat than my white boyfriend who can't dance.
But I have to say this though, there were specific scenes that maybe I didn't laugh to them. I was like, oh, interesting joke, doesn't hit me. But the general ambience in the cinema was amazing. People were like, you could
Cracking
really
up.
hear them crack up and laugh. So
Yeah.
I might not have been the right target audience. So I'm coming to this from my perspective, but if I didn't watch the film and I just heard the audience, I would think it's a good film.
I think it's a fun film.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing though, it doesn't take itself seriously. That's a flaw of the film, but also it's a good thing because you just get to relax and enjoy. You will be deaf by the end of it, but it's still a fun film. Speaking of deafness and losing our hearing, how quiet was the film?
Like, Tenet was relaxing and soothing compared to this film. At the gunshots in Tenet,
Yeah.
got nothing against Munjya.
So since our titular character, Munjya, he is not real, unfortunately. Sorry to everyone watching. What did you think of his character design? Do you think that was a unique approach that they took with this main guy?
I thought it was horrible. It was atrocious.
Okay.
I think, like, seeing older CGI from 20 years ago.
Any specific year or franchise you're referring to, or?
Maybe between the 2002 and 2003.
Okay.
I think it could have been done better. From their budget, or I don't know their budget, but from the way that it was shot, the way that it was lit, the amount of drone shots they have.
Yeah.
I feel they could have been more tasteful with showing Munjya. They showed him so much. I would rather have 50% less of those shots, but every time I see him, like, character design and CGI should have been flawless. I also didn't think it looked that cool. Like, he's wood, but I didn't know he was wood until I saw him, like, come out of the tree the second time. So, what did you think?
I wish they experimented with the lighting when it came to showing Munjya. Like, even as you said, if not showing him, but maybe playing with shadows or something to keep us in the dark as well. Because he is so loud that we don't need to see him.
Ever.
Or hear him, or feel him, none of it. But even, I think the most emphasis was put on his, when he injures Bittu and his handprint is on the back. I think even that as a character would have been more interesting visually than whatever the VFX was.
Okay. So looking at the film by itself, how much would you relate it to Hindu mythology, right?
I don't think this was very mythological when it comes to... We do have tales of, like, demons and spirits in the woods. And there is this one specific tree. It's called the peepal tree. It's like a huge tree. And we're told not to be around it at night. Because trees are these, like, very deep-rooted... They're ancient. They have all these spirits and stuff. Even in the start of the film, we see the head shaving ceremony and something. That's the thing though, I feel like with Hindu mythology, you can link so much to it and it would make a more interesting play, but they didn't. They also refer to a folk tale in the start where there's a quote, where it's like the interesting thing about folk tales is that they show you how to defeat dragons. And I don't see any of that being reflected in the movie.
I forgot about that. That sounds kind of ridiculous now.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they're gonna, show us the power of friendship
Yeah,
or something.
I remember you said that the like the Munjya hanging off of the bat was a short show that you watched before.
Yeah,
right?
it was a TV show. It was called Vikram and Betal. Vikram is this king, and Betal is this. I don't remember what exactly entity he was, but he would always hang off his back. And he was sort of like an evil Ratatouille, where he would tell him to do these things.
And no one else could see him.
No one could see.
So exactly like Munjya.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think anything about this film was original. Everything felt like a reference to something that already existed, and they made it worse.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
I think Bittu just brought the whole.
Yeah, I think we really hate Bittu. Like, we're trying to find anything redeemable.
I think he should have been hurt more. That would have made the entertainment higher.
He wasn't hurt enough.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the one joke though, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but where his parents accuse him of smoking up. And I think that was interesting. But that's
Relatable?
I can't confirm or deny this point. But I feel like they would give you a little bit of like teaser, like, oh, this can be in the film, but then they're like, never mind, we're actually doing a completely ripped off version.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of interesting scenarios, but never explored.
Yeah.
Like even when you tell me about like the drug addiction part, like nothing came out of it.
Yeah.
Just his friend cornered him, was like, oh, I heard you're doing drugs. And he said no. And he's like, see my crazy room and see like, and then they played the, what you call, the Ouija board.
That was funny that they did the Ouija board on a t-shirt that they have. I thought that was a funny thing. It was very subtle as well. Like they didn't make a whole thing about it. Even the scene where the friend tells him about this demon, he's eating noodles and you can hear the fork scraping the ceramic bowl, and that's as loud as the dialogues. And I'm like, who was in this editing room? What revenge were they taking out on the director? Because why can we hear every single thing about this film?
I think it's mixed and mastered very weirdly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you want to hire the guy for?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I think if I ever end up working for the CIA and I want to torture some information out of people, I will play this movie, but on 50% volume because I don't want to kill the guy. So, moving on to the ending of the film, do you think it did justice to the plot and the characters?
It made Bittu seem like a bigger loser
than he started
was
off as.
already established.
Okay. He was very self-aware though. That's the one good thing about him.
And his mom even told him like, you're not a loser when he was crying.
Yeah.
You know, and then she said, stop crying.
Or I'm gonna slap you.
So nothing really works.
Yeah.
Even the the cool ass grandma, nothing works.
Maybe he's just doomed from the beginning, and
maybe it's foreshadowing to certain characters out there.
Maybe there is no hope for losers. Maybe that's the real.
That's the real story here.
Yeah.
And then that girl that you like is just gonna end up doing Zumba in Brazil.
And then she's gonna show up at the end of the film in a dance sequence that has nothing to do with the film.
That was the funniest thing. But you said that's super normal.
That's very normal. In Bollywood films or Hindi films where there isn't musicals throughout, they just put one in the end so that they can market that on YouTube. So
they would use that dance as the marketing for the movie?
I think, you know the dream sequence where they do TikTok dances where they don't move, they're just in that one position and he's dreaming of this life with this girl. I feel like movies do that these days where they make up a dance in the film so that they can be like, do the Manju Bittu challenge on TikTok and win something something. So we have to do a movie rating. That's how it goes in our very coveted podcast. If I had to rate this film, I would do 2 out of 5 gilfs. What would your rating be? How many gills would you give this film?
I would give it 1 out of 1 Bittu.
1 out of 1, so 100%.
100% Bittu.
That's the Dennis tomatoes, like the rotten tomatoes.
Yeah.
100% Bittu, that's your rating. Okay, I like how the rating system in every episode just keeps getting worse and worse. Cause
So how many gills did you award it again?
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
Yes.
That's a bit. Why 2 out of 5?
I had fun though.
Okay.
I had fun.
And
Like,
getting tortured.
yeah, it's like, you know when you're a masochist? Or-
Stockholm syndrome.
No, it's like it's bad.
Were you kind of attracted to Munjya towards the end?
Towards the, I think when I first laid my eyes on him, I was like my heart skipped a beat,
Okay.
and I think my hearing went deaf. Like I could just hear. "Ding." That's interesting. In the movie, there's a moment where there's silence. No one's saying anything. There's no music.
You hear the ringing.
But you can hear them because the sound director is like, we cannot have silence, you guys. I think a good double feature with this film would be A Quiet Place. So you watch A Quiet Place,
What's a sound director?
a guy who directs sound.
Okay.
Did you not know that? You will know that after watching this film. But so okay, you're rating this movie 100%. Is what I heard.
No, Bittu is the most hateable person on planet Earth.
Okay.
If it's 100% Bittu, it's 100% bad.
So you didn't like anything about this film?
No, I'm doing it for the bit.
Oh, you're doing a bit. Okay, a bit too. All right. How much would you rate it?
I don't want to be too like you. I think a 1.
Okay.
More like because it had such endless potential and it
Mm.
was just
Wasted.
wasted.
Mhm.
Cinematography beautiful, sound design great,
Character design flawless.
but it had the money to do it. Like
yeah.
I felt like they should have just done one thing really well
Mm.
rather than 12 things kind of lightly.
Mm.
You know, horror, double down with horror, make it horror comedy, right? Just
Mm.
like very scary scenes, but add comedic
Elements.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or comedy and then a background of horror, cool, but go hella hard with the comedy, with
Mm.
him being druggies, with everyone like judging him for it, commonality so people can relate to it. Like,
Yeah.
I
Have
just-
Bittu marry the goat.
yeah.
Give us some variety. you
Yeah,
know?
like go deep somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But it was just kind of just very
It was
shallow.
like Bittu, the film.
So guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. It was lovely having you on the podcast,
Thank you.
Prasadini.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching as usual. And we will surprise you guys next week once again as well to another
Movie Review Monday.
movie review Monday. Spoiler, might be a franchise this time. Even though Prasadini has not done many franchises, might be our first franchise.
Yeah. I
On
think
the
the
pod.
shortest franchise, right? I've heard that it's the shortest
Oh
franchise.
yeah, it's like you can do it in one sitting. It's so light.
Factual.
Yeah.
Anything you want to plug on our podcast? Do you have a company? Where can we find you?
So I'm gonna be hosting now movie review Mondays. I hope you guys follow me and support the fan base. Like, subscribe, share,
Comment?
and comment
Okay.
at Prasadini.
Yeah. Can we follow you on X? Are you on X or TikTok?
Actually, I'm on X in Mumbai, India.
Oh yeah.
Context of the joke: someone hacked my X account from Mumbai, India. So
Who could it be? But thank you so much. It was lovely having you on the podcast. Can I have a grandma fist bump?
fist bump, boom.
But thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this beautiful setting that was all done by me.
I want to rewatch the film now.
I think we missed out on a lot.
Yeah, you should do another sitting.
Definitely. And then I think we will find more context and gain beautiful insight about the film.
100%.
But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We shall see you next Wednesday, maybe. I don't know.
Or Tuesday.
Or Tuesday. Maybe Sunday as well, if we're being crazy. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys again with another episode. Maybe a franchise, maybe not.
Maybe a franchise.
Or not. All right. Bye.